gathered journalists and media to produce the Redeemer newspaper in November 1990. His reason for publishing a newspaper at that time was to create the impression that the country was returning to normalcy. After that edition, several newspapers such as the Scorpion, Inquirer, The Eye, The Analyst, amongst others, sprang up on the newsstand in Monrovia. The Scorpion newspaper was owned and operated by Senator Johnson on the INPFL base. After a lengthy period of war of words with the IA newspaper, Senator Johnson sent out the olive branch and smoked the peace pipe with the newspaper and became the first factional leader to openly give $250 United States for the purchase of newsprints in appreciation of the openness and sincerity in its reportage. Senator Prince Yomi Johnson later left Liberia in 1992 during the infamous octopus attack on Monrovia for a negotiated exile in Nigeria as part of the efforts for ending the Liberian Civil War after the overthrow of President Samuel Doe's regime. During his stay in Nigeria, the deceased, as a testament of his conviction for Christ, Senator Prince Yomi Johnson was ordained by a prophet, Iko Itwen, the president and founder of the Christ Deliverance Ministries, on April 28, 2002, as an evangelist to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. While in Nigeria, Senator Johnson spent his spiritual time with the Synagogue Church of All Nations. His relationship with senior prophet T.B. Joshua was son-to-father relationship. He received 2 certificates in both journalism and law while in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Upon his return to Liberia in 2004, the late Honorable Prince Yomi Johnson was petitioned by a cross-section of Nimba citizens to run for a seat in the Senate to represent Nimba County. This mobilized resources and ran his campaign, leading to a landslide victory with his election as the senior senator of Nimba County. He entered the Liberian Senate as the senator with the highest votes, a testament of the appreciation of Nimbaians for his contributions to the restoration of civic rights as citizens of Liberia. He also contested in 2011 and 2017 as a presidential candidate, gathering massive votes that placed him in 3rd and 4th place, respectively. Honorable Johnson leveraged his critical political influence asset into virtually selecting presidents in the last 3 elections. Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in 2011, Ambassador George Manneh Weah in 2017, and President Joseph Newman Boakai in 2023. He became regarded as the Kingmaker in Liberia's contemporary electoral politics. Given his deep connection, his admirers and supporters affectionately called him PYJ and Nimba Zodwa, the one Nimba depends on. Furthermore, his influence in politics was instrumental in securing the appointments of Nimbaians and other Liberians in government from the local level to central government. He also largely determined the election of lawmakers from Nimba County in both houses of the legislature since the 2005 elections and up to his passing. A majority of the electorate in Nimba County would always wait for his direction to vote during presidential elections, earning him the title Godfather of Nimba County. The late Honorable Prince Yomi Johnson resisted the corrupting influence to seize power through the barrel of the gun in 1990, reportedly rejecting the biddings of some traditional politicians to announce himself as head of state of Liberia. Described as a 21st century military genius born in Africa, the executive mansion would have been a susceptible target for him, but he did not consider such an idea. To the contrary, the deceased posited that, quote, the guns that liberate must not rule, unquote, and went on to publish a book of such belief, detailing his thoughts on military takeover versus leadership through the will of the people. He believed that leadership must not be imposed. It should rather be exercised based on the democratic will of the people. The deceased established democratic institutions such as the National Union for Democratic Progress, NUDP, from which he was separated in 2014 before forming the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction in 2017. He was elected as Nimba County Senator 3 times on 3 9-year terms. He served his first 2 terms and was serving his 3rd term when he answered the ultimate call of death. Conscious that his sojourn on earth was waning away, he created more leaders. In the legislature alone, he helped with the election of many lawmakers. With the knowledge that he could not outlive his natural limit as a political leader of MDR and as the political leader of Nimba, he considered the idea of a smooth succession. Accordingly, he chose current Vice President Jeremiah Kwankwong as that person to succeed him based on the recognizable leadership qualities of that Honorable Kwong. The late senator described Honorable Kwong as a son, man of candor, humble, calm during difficult situations, and respectful of others, even in disagreements. He worked and blessed to succeed him as standard bearer of the MDR party while he was still alive. He has largely been credited in making a difference in the life of Honorable Jeremiah Kwankwong, from his service as Senator of Nimba County to becoming the running mate to the then former Vice President Joseph Yuman Boykai in the 2023 elections. Today, Honorable Kwong is Vice President of the Republic of Liberia as a consequence of the many years of political work by Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. Senator Johnson's representation of Nimba's interests included his public rebuke of other political leaders whom he believed were not giving Nimba its fair share of representation and development opportunities. While in the Senate, he served on several committees as follows: Chairman, Nimba Legislative Caucus 3 times. Chairman, Senate Committee on Internal Affairs and Governance. Chairman, Senate Committee on National Security, Intelligence and Veterans Affairs. Third Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Co-Chairman on Regional Security, ECOWAS Parliament. Senator Johnson believed that his life would be better lived by addressing the needs of vulnerable people. He did not only believe in giving handouts, but he also built people and leaders. While serving as leader of the INPFL faction, he sought and gathered at his Caldwell base the underprivileged, less fortunate, orphaned, and lost children from various communities and provided them food, shelter, and other necessities of life. Many of those particular young beneficiaries of the late General Johnson's humanitarian gesture are now successful adults in and out of Liberia who are grateful and do not hesitate to gloriously recall the late senator's generosity that helped them survive when they needed it the most. In further demonstration of his humanitarian nature, the late Senator Johnson in 2010 founded the PYJ Foundation, which has given rise to several institutions, including the PYJ Polytechnic University College located in Gompa City, Nimba County, a multi-million-dollar modern institution now dedicated and open to the public and offering undergraduate degrees in various disciplines. It is an intergenerational asset that seeks to empower youth and create new cadres of leaders in all fields of life. He also established ministries with high schools in the ELBC community and Zuba Town in Painesville. Through his services, he has catered to thousands of people and created jobs for many of them. During the course of his career, Senator Johnson made valuable friends nationally and internationally. Those friends enabled him to achieve some of his many successes mentioned in this gazette. President Nasingbe Iyadima funded Senator Johnson's efforts to write his second book, The Rise and Fall of Samuel K. Doe, and encouraged him to establish schools to support the knowledge base of the country. It was based on that advice that Senator Johnson established the PYJ Polytechnic University College. The week before his death, Senator Johnson named the auditorium of the university the Nasingbe Iyadima Auditorium in memory of his friend and advisor, President of Togo from 1967 up to his death in 2005. Senator Johnson was also best friends of the late President of Nigeria, Sani Abacha, and former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Other friends were chiefs and businessmen, Chief Frank Ine, amongst others. Senator Johnson, like other statesmen, believed that the rule of law in any nation is a cornerstone for renewal and growth. He was against individuals using the rule of law as a pretext to silence their rivals. He strongly opposed hypocrisy in the national discourse aimed at setting the agenda to address impunity. While welcoming the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia, Senator Johnson challenged the court by saying, quote, "Those who forcefully took away hundreds of innocent children left behind by their fleeing parents across the towns and villages in Nimba County early 1990, as he claimed, should be investigated. Senator Johnson called on those working for the establishment of the court to also investigate those, quote, who massacred Nimbayans in cold blood at the UN compound, JFK Hospital, and at the Lutheran Church, all in Sinkhor between May to August 1990. His kinsmen, admirers, and followers believe the late Nimba senator and godfather of the county stood and sacrificed his entire life for the people of Nimba County and continued his advocacy for the county during the last 2 decades since his entry into the Liberian Senate in 2005. Senator Johnson was a soldier, a practical Liberian politician who believed in democracy, a patriot, a statesman, ordained evangelist, a devoted Christian, and a natural gospel musician who was known for inspiring his congregation and audience with praise songs during regular worship services. He will be dearly missed and remembered. The deceased was joined in holy matrimony with Miss Amira Boyedi Eridi on July 26, 2002 in Nigeria. The union was blessed with many children and grandchildren. In the passing of Honorable Prince Yomi Johnson, the family has lost a loving and caring father, uncle, brother. The Christ Chapel of Faith Ministries, an ordained evangelist, the peace-loving people of Nimba County have lost an impactful leader. His political allies, the government and people of Liberia as a whole, an astute statesman and people leader. He leaves to mourn his loss, his widow, Mrs. Amira Boyedi Aridi Johnson, his children Gideon Gonganu Johnson, Thomas Kuwamba Johnson, Cooper Setuwa Johnson, Blessing Johnson Momo, Amy Johnson, Terry G. Johnson, Daniel Johnson, Diamond Johnson, Deba E. Johnson, Jonathan Johnson, Princess Yelie Johnson, Kama Jessica Johnson, Haley, Macintosh Papi Johnson, 21 grandchildren, his siblings, Chris Peter Johnson, Martha Yengli Johnson, Annie Johnson Toh, Lucy K. Johnson, and Mammy Johnson, a host of other relatives and friends in Liberia and abroad. On Tuesday, January 14th, 2025, at 10 o'clock anti-meridian, the body of Senator Prince Yomi Johnson will be removed from the Samuel A. Stryker Funeral Parlors in Sinkhor, Monrovia, and taken to the rotunda of the Capitol building, where the deceased will lie in state for 3 hours, commencing at 11 o'clock anti-meridian. Thereafter, the remains will be conveyed under appropriate escort to the Christ Chapel of Faith Church on Lovers Street behind ELBC Painesville, Monrovia County, Liberia, commencing at 6 o'clock post-meridian and ending at 5 o'clock anti-meridian. On Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, at 8 o'clock anti-meridian, the body of the late Honorable Prince Yomi Johnson will be taken to Nimba County for further funeral activities, starting with an all-night wakekeeping in Ganta City, Nimba County. On Thursday, January 16, 2025, at 8 o'clock anti-meridian, the remains of Senator Johnson will be taken to Saniquili for a period of honoring. Thereafter, the body will be taken to Kample for a night of wakekeeping commencing at 6 o'clock post-meridian. On Friday, January 17th, 2025, at 8 o'clock ante-meridian, the remains of Senator Johnson will be taken to the headquarters of his birth district for a period of honoring commencing at 10 o'clock ante-meridian and later to Saclay, PA for a night of wakekeeping beginning at 6 o'clock post-meridian. On Saturday, January 18th, 2025, at 8 o'clock ante-meridian, the remains of the late lifelong Nimba Senator, Prince Yomi Johnson, will be taken to Ganta City for the state funeral services at the PYJ Polytechnic University College, commencing at 10 o'clock ante-meridian. Thereafter, interment follows within the compound of the same venue. As a mark of last respect to the late Honorable Prince Yomi Johnson, lifelong senior senator, Nimba County, chairman, Nimba Legislative Caucus, Republic of Liberia, former chairman, Senate Committee on Internal Affairs, chairman, Senate Committee on National Security, Intelligence and Veteran Affairs, former Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Liberian Senate, Republic of Liberia, former co-chairman on regional security, ECOWAS Parliament, Liberian Senate, member Committee on Ways, Means and Finance, member Committee on Banking and Currency, member Committee on Youth and Sports, Republic of Liberia, former standard bearer, erstwhile National Union for Democratic Progress, standard bearer Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, Republic of Liberia, founder and chairman Board of Trustees, PYJ Polytechnic University College, founder and chairman Board of Trustees, PYJ Educational Foundation, founder and general overseer, Christ Chapel of Faith Ministries Incorporated, patriarch of Nimba, former gospel musician and guitarist, former writer, a soldier, a patriot, administrator, septuagenarian, philanthropist, devout Christian, and a dedicated public servant, Republic of Liberia. It is hereby ordered and directed that from January 13th, 2025 to January 18th, 2025, the national ensign of the Republic of Liberia be flown at half-mast from all public buildings in Monrovia and Nimba counties from 8 o'clock ante-meridian to 6 o'clock post-meridian. While his remains are being borne to the cemetery for interment, his personal salute of 17 cannons will be fired at intervals by order of the President of Liberia, Madam Sarah Basolo Nyanti, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Monrovia, Liberia, December 27, 2024.
Well, that was the reading of.
At this time, we will continue with the tributes from the government of Liberia, beginning in the reverse order. And we will start with Honorable Thomas Yaya Nimley, Senator of Grand Jida County, who will make his tribute on behalf of the Grand Jida County. Senator Nimley.
Senator Yaya Nemli about to pay his tribute. I'll say his last words to his fallen colleague, Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. So folks, you are following Spawn TV live. We're coming to you live from Gompa City, Nimba County. My name is Yekezi Zobe, here alongside Haji Masale, bringing you the state scenery of fallen Nimba County Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. Grand Judah County Senator Yaya Nemli has been called upon.
Thank you very much.
His last respect.
Thank you.
To the people of Nimba County.
Citizens of Liberia.
For
citizens of
the loss
Nimba
of Senator
and Grand Judah. Most of you might be wondering, why is Thomas Yaya Nemli on this program? I'm going to make it brief just to explain to you why I am on this program. Senator Prince Johnson was my best friend. I know a lot of you are very confused. Senator Prince Johnson established friendship with me in 2005 through Honorable Justice Kabina Jane. When he came from Nigeria, he called Kabina Jane and he said, I want to see the man they call Thomas Yaya Nemli. And Honorable Jane said, well, I don't know whether that man will see you. Then he said, go and tell him that I want to meet with him. Honorable Jane came to me and I said, I don't have any interest in meeting with Honorable Prince Johnson. And he came back again and said, I still want to meet that man. And after a couple of visits, I agreed to meet with Senator Prince Johnson. He called him and he said, Thomas Yaya Nemli is coming to your house. At that time, I was the foreign minister of Liberia. So we went to his house. Honorable John and I, only the two of us. When we entered the house, climbing the stairs, he had a late Samuel Kayando's picture on the wall while I was climbing the stairs. I saw the picture. And he asked Kabina, he said, where is the man? Kabina said, here is Thomas Yaya Nemli. I was in a white t-shirt with a jeans trousers. And he said, where are your people? And I said, Honorable, I did not bring any people, I came alone. Along the hallway were drinks in cartons, in crates, Fanta, beer, stout, food lined up. And he said to me in the presence of Honorable Justice Kabina, I called you here to tell you thank you. If you had not come, I was going to die in Nigeria. Thank you for coming. God is first and you are second. I want you from today's date to be my friend. And I said to him with pleasure. From that day on, Senator Prince Johnson never ceased in communicating with me. Whether he's in Nigeria, whether he's in Liberia, he will always call me around 9, 10 o'clock at night. Our friendship was not one in which we visited each other. Our friendship was private, it was genuine, there was no deception, no gossips. We discussed issues that pertain to the security of this country. At one point, President Weah was appointed as peace ambassador. And President Weah called me and said, I want you to help me because I have now been appointed peace ambassador so we can do reconciliation. So can you come to my house? So I went to President Weah and he said, who do you know we can call? So I said, we can call Senator Prince Johnson. So I called Senator Prince Johnson. He said, I'm not coming. So I said, Senator, I'm with you. I am coming. George Bulley is coming. We are the reason for reconciliation. So let's meet. And so on that day we met at RLJ. I called him and I said, I'm going ahead of you. And he came. I met him at the door and he sat in front of me. After all the other remarks, he wrote something on a piece of paper. He turned around, he gave it to me. And I said, what should I do with it? He said, this is a speech, a remark I want to make. I want you to edit it. Read it and tell me whether the English is correct. So I read it and I said, it is okay. He said, are you sure? And I said, yes. And he read it. From there, I said, let's go home. And we came home. Senator Prince Johnson never ceased to call me at 9, 10 o'clock every night. When I missed his call, he would call me the following night, 9, 10 o'clock, to tell me why he was calling me. And every time I gave him my opinion, he would say, you are the educated one. If you say so, I believe you. I will support it. He always believed me, and he always supported my response to his concerns. Senator Prince Johnson came to this country as a former warlord, but he opened a church and he started preaching for the past 20 years. Why was he preaching? Did anybody ask that question? Why was he preaching? He was preaching for redemption. He was preaching for forgiveness for 20 years. Those of you who relate to the Bible every day, what did God tell you?